Okay, very good afternoon to everybody in this second paper presentation, webinar presentation in second season of semester 2. And in this presentation, we will have presentations by Aditi, Anjali, Bhavyang, Bhumika, Chandani, Daya, Hiral, Jignesh, and Khushbu. And you are going to make presentation on 20th century literature, which is a post Second World War 20th century literature. So let us start with the first presenter of the day, Aditi. You can start your presentation.
Okay, sir. My screen is visible.
Your voice is not audible, Aditi.
Hello. Hello. My voice is clear.
Voice
Hello.
is very low. Speak louder.
Hello. Now my voice is clear, sir. Hello.
It is still very low.
Oh.
It is still very low.
Manage
Yeah.
my voice, sir.
Shall we take another turn if you are not ready? That's why we keep on telling that do rehearsals. Yeah, but still. So once we have started, then in between, check your devices. Do a meeting call with. Yes, yeah, Aditi.
Hello. Now my voice is clear, sir.
It is still low, but okay, fine. You can now start. Yeah.
Okay, I will present my screen. Now my screen is visible, sir.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I would like to present Waiting for Godot philosophical context.
No, we are not getting your sound. Yeah, because see, you will not be able to show this video afterwards in your digital portfolio. You will be ashamed of showing that there is no sound at all. That's why I am concerned. Yeah. Your sound. Remove this device. I think there is a problem with the device. Directly take a sound from laptop. Maybe that will be better.
Okay, sir. I will try. Sir, please take another turn. I will read it for you.
Okay, let us take another turn. You do a small practice with check your settings of the sound. Okay, Bhavyang. Bhavyang. Anjali, I think, has not joined. Yeah, Anjali is. Okay, Bhavyang, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now see this sound, everybody can check this, no? That this sound is okay. The other sound is a problem.
Okay, I am Asari Bhavyang, and today's my topic is about the theme of existentialism in the Waiting for the Godot. Samuel Beckett, he was born on April 13, 1906 and died at 22 December 1989. He was an Irish novelist, playwright, short story writer, theater director, poet, and literary translator. He was an author, critic, and a playwright. Waiting for the Godot. Waiting for the Godot is one of the most important play of the 20th century. Samuel Beckett. Waiting for the Godot is a play that present a conflict between a living by a religious and spiritual belief and living by an existential philosophy, which asserts that it is up to the individual to discover the meaning of a life through the personal experience in the earthly world. Support for these asserts regards the nature of the play is based of the first-hand interpretation of dialogue and action within the play itself, as well as interpretation of a quote, an idea from the Samuel Beckett and his critic. The theme of existentialism in the Waiting for the Godot. Both the character Ladimel and Estragon put themselves into the absurd situation, just like a human have been put in the world without any motivation. Samuel Beckett play Waiting for the Godot exposed that it is up to the individual to change the meaning of a life through the personal experience in the world and make it better. In very simple word, the philosophy of existentialism means that every person is responsible for his action and no second person is pulling his string or controlling his fate. Ladimel represents the portion of a humanity who trust in religious and spiritual belief to guide them, and the Estragon represent the more ideal existentialism portion of a humanity who choose to stop waiting and construct the meaning of life based on experience in a tangible and philosophical world around them. The following is an example of a dialogue which supports the concept. A concept from Waiting for the Godot. This is a conversation between Ladimel and Estragon, which I have taken from the play Waiting for the Godot. It tells about here we can see the Ladimel is depending on Godot to tell him what he needed to know regarding his existence, while Estragon asserts that they do not have the time to wait and they should take action on their own before it is too late. The metaphor of the cooling iron suggests that humanity does not have enough time to wait for their spiritual pondering to offer them enlightenment, that the chance will pass and their effort will not take effort once when it does. And there is another incident in the dialogue between the Estragon and Ladimel that play on the idea of Ladimel and faithful religion and Estragon as a progressive humanity. So here we can see once again the existential philosophy of the human experience in the physical world is what Estragon seek in his desire to live for inspiring prospect, and the common human tendency to wait on a religion to offer answer is inherent in Ladimel suggests that they should stay and wait so that they can be enlegitimate by Godot. Here I have taken the paragraph from Waiting for the Godot. The play Waiting for the Godot has all the traits of existentialism. Both Ladimel and Estragon represent the man in a general who is facing the problem of the existence in the world. Waiting for the Godot is an existential play because it has a clear taint of existential in it. If we study the term existentialism, we would come to know that it is a philosophical doctrine which lies stress on of the existence with his concern, experience, and solitude. There are interdependent like all other men hope for a salvation in the subject of the play, and is the problem faced by the whole human race is representing the man is the general. The two tramp realize the futility of their exercise and who or who note that they are merely filling up the hours with the pointless action. Hence, is their waiting in mechanical and deal with the problem of existentialism. Conclusion To conclude, we say that the whole picture shows the pretty hopelessness, neither time nor existence, neither reality nor memory of the past and meaning of significance act are meaningless. Time does not flow. Consequently, memory seems deceptive. Exist is an impression, or perhaps a dream, and happiness is extremely an affliction in crystal clear through the situation of two tramp. There are on the point of becoming hollow, philosophical of existence, but demand not other equipment in the audience that the bond of a common uh, perception. However, in a simple word, it means that every person is responsible for his action, and no second person is pulling his train or controlling his fate. Here we can see the references which I have taken, and thank you.
Okay, you can stop presenting, and the questions to Bhavyang should be asked.
Hello, Bhavyan. I have one question.
Yes.
What is existentialism?
It is form of a philosophy inquiry that explores the problem of a human existence and center of the living experience of the thinking, feeling, action, etc.
Thank you.
Okay, next Bhumika. Yeah, you can start your presentation.
Sir, now I am ready. Hello, sir.
Yes, Aditya, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Now I
Okay,
am
you can.
audible.
Yes, it is audible now. Yeah.
Daya, please share your screen.
Yes, I am sharing my screen.
I will start, sir.
Yes, you can start.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Today's my talk. I would like to present Waiting for Godot as a philosophical context. Next slide. First of all, we can see about Waiting for Godot. Waiting for Godot is written by Samuel Beckett. Waiting for Godot is an absurd play, and there is no one female character. No one female character. Waiting for Godot. Waiting for Godot is an absurd play. Next slide there. Next. Now we can see Waiting for Godot philosophical context. In, term, in terms of 20th century secular philosophy, Waiting for Godot seems particularly congruent with the trends of existentialism which gained popularity in the decades following World War II, and at least to the mid 19th century, in the writing of philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche and the fiction for Fyodor Dostoevsky, its foremost 20th century proponent was Jean-Paul Sartre, and whose Measure, Being and Nothingness was published in 1943 in France, and his translate into published into English in 1956. Next slide there. Therefore, no persistent spiritual realm, no soul, no God, no cosmic compassion for or interested in human life, no afterlife, no eternal life, no heaven, no hell, no everlasting rewards or punishment for earthly deeds, no transcendence of worldly existence, no cosmic mental erective, no angels and devils lying for human elegance, no divine will, no salvation, no redemption, no present destiny, no inevitable fate, or no revealed truth. All of that is simply human invention, or as the mistress termed it, superstition. Next slide, please. In Waiting for Godot, characters have, however, precisely the probabilities that that remains that are uncertain. The deceives action that is impossible itself in action, and their will that remains paralyzed. The satire, however, existentialism cannot be taken for a philosophy of quietism, since it defines man in terms of action, not for a pessimistic determination of man, for man's destiny is within himself. The best concise introductory explanation of Sartre's doctrine is his essay now titled The Humanism of Existentialism. And in Beckett's play are to be found in Vladimir's admission of multiple uncertainties. Next slide, Bella. In the last conclude is that their purpose is futile, that Godot will never come, or that they continue unreasonably and implicitly to hope, to wait, and idly pass the time. Waiting for Godot on existence play tend to assume Godot does not actually exist, he will never come for the simple reason. In this view, we can say that the play's many Christian allusions are little more than shades of culture. Next slide there. Notwithstanding the striking congruence between Sartre's philosophy and Beckett's play, to read Waiting for Godot as nothing more than a dramatic illustration of Sartre's thesis is no less reductive and simplistic allegory. And in 1937, Samuel Beckett was asked into a court down whether he was a Christian, a Jew, or an atheist. Beckett's character, non-knowers and non-caners. Next slide, please. Beckett characters, non-knowers and non-caners. Their concerns are for more mundane, hurting feet, lapsing memories, and the scarcity of carrots and appointment with the unknown Godot. In Waiting for Godot, existential issues are unmistakably present. And they are no less the subject of skepticism and humor than the prescription of Christianity. Next slide. There. Here is my reference. And next slide. Thank you.
Unmute your mic.
Yeah, okay. Yes, okay. Next presenter is Bhumika, and questions to Aditi shall be asked in chat.
Yes, sir. Let me share my screen. Today my topic is...
Yes, Bhavyang, have you not submitted your this PPT?
Yes, sir, I am submitting.
So don't forget, that is what I was telling in the beginning, that if you don't remember, note down, keep a checklist
Sir.
of the things that yours is supposed to be done. Yes, there are many things to be done, that is true, but you have to see that everything is done, and we don't have to remind one by one everybody that you have not done this and you have not done the other thing. Yes, Bhumika.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Sir, I am hearing my echo sound.
It is okay here. We are not listening the echo sound here.
Today my topic is Orwell's 1984 and today.
So let's begin. The author biography, 1984, written by George Orwell, as we know. Eric Arthur Blair. George Orwell is not his true name. Eric Arthur Blair is his real name. And known by his pen name, George was an English essayist, journalist, and critic. His work is character and opposition totalitarianism and outspoken support of democratic socialism. Then this is the image of the first page, book page of 1984. The slogan, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength, and war is peace. As we know, this is in this novel, lot many things are opposition of today's world, and there are context of Big Brother is watching you. The book is set in 1984 in Oceania, one of three perpetually warning totalitarianism states. The author and
Are you listening the voice of Mahila
put
Bhumi?
the population into unthinking obedience to its leader, Big Brother. The story takes place in
There is a
an
very low
imagined
voice.
future. As we know.
Bhumika.
The story take place in an imagined world. In future, the 1984, there are three social classes, uh, like the inner party, the outer party, and the third is the proles, that is with their own upper and middle and lower classes. This story in the world victim to perpetual war, omnipresent government surveillance, historical negationism, and propaganda. There is a context like the main theme of this novel is totalitarianism. In this picture, we very well understand the novel's context. Like this show represent the government, and under this show, there are flags and raised hands are the public, which are controlled by the government. So let me define the totalitarianism in this novel. Totalitarianism is one of the major themes of this novel, 1984, and it presents the type of government where even the head of the government is unknown to the public. And this theme is serves as a warning to the people because such a regime unleashes propaganda to make people believe the lies presented by its government. Then totalitarianism is a form of a government that attempts to exert total control over the lives of its citizens. It is characterized by a strong central rule that attempts to control and direct all aspects of individual life and through coercion permit individual freedom. Then we already seen in our classroom that 2 plus 2 commonly 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, but in this novel 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. That it shows the very much control by a government. There is no freedom and which the government says is totally true. There are no any arguments by their peoples also. So this context and if we literally discuss this, uh, then forcing Smith means Winston to assent to the proposition that 2 plus 2 is equal to 5 indicates that the party demands to be in control of every aspect of his thinking and every framework through which he constructs reality. That's the party's will is all, objective reality, and only exists insofar as it confirms that the party's program. Then, as we know, there are three main countries, and it means superpowers in 1984 novel: uh, Oceania, Eurasia, and Estasia. Estasia. In this between these three countries, the war is never ending. Many often it will arriving. Then the major context of this novel is Big Brother. Uh, we see this Big Brother context in a government context, like today. Big Brother in the novel is a fictional character, symbol in Orwell's dystopian 1949 novel 1984. He is obstable, the leader of Oceania, a totalitarian state wherein the ruling party and it means for its own sake over the inhabitants. Then, if we talk about today, then today on the threshold of the real year 1984, we ask ourselves how much of Orwell's fictional world has become reality and what the prospects are for a more sensible world. In Orwell's this nightmare version, the world after an atomic war has divided itself into three massive slave states. Uh, the name we already given Oceania, Eurasia, and Estasia. And these three superpowers and about equal in strength and are continuously at war. So they seems to divide the world into three zones of influence. And further, if we talk about the differences between both of era, as today and this novel's 1984, then we come to find that in Orwell's 1984, It was considered unacceptable to have sex for pleasure, to eat chocolate, or have an alcoholic beverage or high quality. This was intended to keep people from seeking out life's pleasures and possibility, losing interest and loyalty in Big Brother. While look at these things today, we have seen taxes we have pay taxes various modes we forced to pay a penalty for purchasing alcohol, tobacco, or for putting gas in our vehicles because we are made to feel guilty for the damage we have apparently inflicted on the earth for trying to get to and from work each day. Even the size of soda drink are regulated in some places. So this can be the difference. And the second, in 1984, food and energy were rationed because, as in all communist nations, there was not much supply. While the government would lie to its citizens and attempts to make them believe the quality of their food and drink was among the best, truth was it was horrible, lacking the necessary nutrition, and they frequently dealt with rolling blackouts. And if we look at today, we are scolded by the government for driving big trucks and SUVs, for keeping our air conditioning on the summer, and the quality of our food is worse than ever. Then the main character Winston, who is also protagonist of this novel, he came straight from Big Brother and the Inner Party, and itself as a way to instill fear and correctness in its citizens. And if we have questioned that how does this relate to 2021, then for if we take example of this COVID-19, to understanding it's in a better way. In this COVID-19, numbers are not consistently being recorded in the most accurate way. For example, in the India, COVID-19 deaths are recorded by those who die within 14 days after testing positive. Recorded in the list of COVID positive. It means that if a person who tests positive or coronavirus dies a week later in a car accident, his or her death is added to the list of coronavirus deaths in India. So it's will be the example of understanding its the contents of this novel. And this means we are potentially receiving inaccurate numbers of those who have died from coronavirus. Thus, in writing 1984, Orwell's main goal was to warn of the serious danger totalitarianism poses to society. He goes to great lengths to demonstrate the terrifying degree of power and control a totalitarian regime can acquire and maintain. In this context, the novel's context, the all public and private places have large TV screens that broadcast government propaganda, news, and approved entertainment, but they are also two-way monitors that spy on citizens' private lives. But today, websites like Facebook track our likes and dislikes, and hack our own computers and find out what they want to know. Then there are the ever present surveillance cameras that spy on the average person that they go about their daily routine. So, uh, and here is my references. Uh, because of lacking of time, I am not able to changing my slides. So the first reference is about the context of this novel. This is capitalist creation, and the New Yorker in which you have find this the differences of Orwell's 1984 and today's context, and the last study diver in which you have if you find if you read about the COVID-19's uh, relation with this novel, then you can go with study driver. And thank you very much all.
Yes, you can stop presenting now. Yeah. Okay. So, what is the source? From where have you taken this? Yes, Bhumika, are you able to listen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, for example, you referred to syntaxes. Syntaxes. So, where do you refer to this?
I'm searching for this today's context and the relation differences between this, and from Google I have to find this context, this syntaxes and alcohol, chocolates, etc. Context
So,
are
do
there.
you remember who has said that? Remember the name of the person who wrote that?
But the person's name are not given there.
No, it must be given. It is not like it is not given. So, what was the source? That is why I'm asking. So, if I can get a source, I can refer and I can check whether what you are saying is right or not.
Yes, sir. I think in this third reference, I have given it this source.
Now, see, one more point also. Like you are speaking from where you are speaking, there is audio. The camera is off in the screen, and where your camera is on, at that place audio is off. This combination is very important. This combination is very important, that camera and audio should be on in the same device.
Yes, sir.
Have you made camera on? You can speak something so we can come to know. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that source from where you have taken it is a very good point that you have made. It is a very good point of comparing today and with 1984.
Sir, after
whoever
this,
has
I
written
can
that,
find
we have to acknowledge.
and share with you.
Yeah. Now see.
Because this
Now see here the
presentation
audio
I
quality is
have,
better. You have made a mistake.
I have refer all very much materials in this presentation, like 10 or 15 references should be given there. Lot many things in this. So, but here I have only 3 context given references.
Okay. So, are you getting my voice clearly? Yeah. Okay. So the point is that when you this presentation and assignments is a part of a research writing, and the basic lesson of research is that when you take ideas from anybody, you have to acknowledge them. You have to remember them. That's people like that is very, very important. Like if you get a good idea, how is it that you cannot remember the name of the person from where you got a good idea? How is it possible?
Yes.
Like how we can not value that? So whenever we read something, the very first question that should come in our mind when we read something interesting, it is like, who is the writer? આવી સરસ વાત કોણ કરે છે? ચલો એનું નામ નોંધી લઈએ. એના નામથી એ વાત કરવી પડે. નહીતર if you don't do that, then you are cheating. You are doing academic cheating. Then what you are doing? Academic cheating. પછી તમે તમારી રીતે લખો તો એમ થાય કે આ વિચાર તમારો છે. તમારું પ્રેઝન્ટેશન કોઈ જુએ તો એમને એમ લાગે કે આ ભૂમિકાનો વિચાર છે, બહુ સરસ ભૂમિકાએ વિચાર કર્યો છે. ભૂમિકાએ તો ચોરી કરી હોય વિચારની આપણે ચોરી કરી હોય. So a good idea, whenever a good idea comes, we always have to say who is the person who has shared this idea. એ વ્યક્તિ ન ભૂલાવી જોઈએ. એ ભૂલી જાય તો આપણે ન ગુણા કહેવાય. આપણી અંદર જે કૃતજ્ઞતાનો ભાવ હોવો જોઈએ એ પણ નથી એમ સાબિત થાય. જો આપણે જે કંઈ પણ વાંચીએ ગમે ત્યાંથી ત્યારે સારો વિચાર હોય એટલીસ્ટ એના પ્रणेता कौन છે, who is the pioneer of that good thought, should always be a curiosity in our mind to know that who is, and then we remember કે આ વ્યક્તિ આવું કહે છે કે syntaxes can be compared with what he is telling, and other references also that you have given about COVID-19. Was COVID-19 also referred, or you have thought about it?
No, I have thought about it.
You have thought about that, no? That manipulation of data. That is called manipulation
Yes.
of data, and how it works there also. Okay. Okay, so fine. The questions to Bhumika shall be asked in chat, and we move to the next presenter, Chandni. Yes.
Yes, sir. Bhavyang, please share my screen. Start, sir.
Screen was
Yes, you can
visible.
start. As soon as presentation is shared, you can start.
No. Can I start, sir?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Chandni Pandya.
Chandni, please unmute yourself.
Introduction. 1984 is a darkly satirical political novel by George Orwell. The story takes place in a nightmarish dystopia in which an ever-surveillant state enforces perfect conformity among citizens through indoctrination, fear, lies, and ruthless punishment. It was first published on June 8, 1949, is Orwell's most famous work, and is the inspiration of the word Orwellian. Next, the word of 1984. The word described in 1984 has striking and deliberate parallels to the Stalinist Soviet Union, notably the theme of betrayed revolution, which Orwell put so famously in Animal Farm, the subordination of individuals to the party, and the extensive of institutional use of propaganda, especially as it influenced the main character of the book, Winston Smith. Next. The ministries of Oceania. Oceania 4 ministries are used in a huge pyramidal structure displaying the three slogans of the party of their slides. First is the Ministry of Peace. Miniplex is the newspeak name for the Ministry of Peace, which concerns itself making war. The second is the Ministry of Plenty. Mini Plenty is newspeak. It is ministry involved in maintaining ubiquitous poverty in Oceania. The third ministry is the Ministry of Truth. Mini Truth is the propaganda arm in so state. They distribute the leaflets, porn, and the course of the telescreen. Fourth ministry is the Ministry of Love. Minto is a gigantic windowless building devoted to the torture and brutality. Next. Parody of the 1941 for freedoms. The structure of government resembled the parody in reverse of the famous 1941 USA State of Union speech by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In that speech before the assembled Congress, the president outlined for freedom. Fourth type of speech is freedom of speech or expression. Second is freedom to every person to worship God in their own way. Third is freedom for want, and fourth is freedom for fear. Next, the party. In his novel, Orwell creates a world in which citizens have no right to a personal life or personal thought. Leisure and other activities are controlled through strict mode. The main menacing figure of Big Brother has been variously interpreted to be that of Soviet leader Joseph Stalin of BBC Design Department Roy Oxley. These posters usually display the slogan of Big Brother is watching you. We can see that today we refer to the this type of slogan that we cannot become say true that nobody can do anything what they want. Next. The three slogans of the party is war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. Next. Here is my work cited. Thank you.
Yes, you can stop presenting. Well cited, very well organized alphabetically and well cited. This is American method of citation. Okay, fine. Good, well presented. Questions to her, Chandni? Yes, Bhumika and Bhavyang, you can ask questions to her. Yes, Bhumika, Bhavyang.
How important is it to Vincent brainwashing?
Hello.
Yes, Chandni, you are audible.
Repeat the question.
How important is it to Vincent's brainwashing?
Doublethink is equally crucial to Winston gradual love station to loving Big Brother because it enables him to accept his torturous word as true.
Hello.
Okay, Bhumika.
Chandni, you are listening me?
Yes.
Why the war never ending in 1984?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Can you listening me?
Yes, but not properly.
I will put in chat.
Okay.
Yeah, keep your camera on, Chandani. Have you put off your camera? Bhumika also, when you ask, when you reply,
Sir,
keep
here
your,
I have a network issue. That's why.
but is it on or not? You have to
Yes,
keep
yes,
it on because
yes,
of
yes.
network. If it is not coming, it is okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we are able to see. Yeah, Bhumika. Bhumika, you can, yeah, it was on right now. Yeah, so if you are keeping it on, then I can see, I think. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you have to keep your, not the standing mobile, again and again, the same simple things that we have to keep on telling to PG students. It doesn't look good, but the things are not changing. And when you are listening the presentations, at least you have to be there. You have to be there. Suddenly when I ask the things that you ask a question, you are not found there. You are found sleeping or somewhere else. It means that you are not attentively attending the presentations. It means that the people who are around you, your family members, and they will think that, well, Bhavnagar University is okay. ભણો ન ભણો બધું સરખું જ છે કે કોઈ કઈ ધ્યાન આપતું જ નથી ત્યાં, કારણ કે તમે ત્યાં એવું વર્તન કરો છો. એટલે તમારા આજુબાજુ વાળાને એવું જ થાય કે બધું ચાલે આમાં તો. So Bhumika, yes, your question and your camera. Yeah. These are all these tricks to identify whether you are sincere or not. Yeah? These are big brother's trick to identify that whether you are sincerely attending
Sir,
everything or not. Yeah? If you are not, then you will be caught.
she typed her
Yes,
question
Bhumika.
in chat,
Let
sir.
Bhumika speak the question. Yes, Bhumika, you speak the question.
Chandani, are you able to listening me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, we are able to listen.
Why is the war never ending in 1984?
In 1984, the endless war enables the ruling class to remain to power while the lower classes remain powerless.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next is Daya.
Yes, sir. I am sharing my screen. I think my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Lights are not visible. Let me try again. Yes. Okay, now it is visible. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Daya Baghani, and today's my topic is on 20th century literature, the novel 1984 by George Orwell. And in this novel, dystopian elements in 1984. Lights are not changing. Okay, now it is done. What is dystopian fiction? According to M.H. Abraham, in his text, A Glossary of Literary Terms, dystopian, the word dystopian is a Greek word and it means bad place. The term dystopia has recently come to be applied to the work of fiction, including science fiction, and that represent a very unpleasant imaginary world, and in which ominous tendencies of our present social and political and technological order are projected into a disastrous future calamities. elements of dystopian literature in the novel 1984. So this novel is a dystopian novel, and it is a story of Winston Smith, who faces totalitarianism in his state. And a dystopian novel is a society that is dehumanizing and is uncomfortable to all that live in it. And in this novel, Orwell has nicely presented the totalitarian government and his own society. And in 1984, acts of terror and torture were used to run Big Brother's dictatorship. And the use of torture is directed parallel to the Soviet Union, because in 1984 Wilson cried out to O'Brien, and this quote is from original text. Wilson cried out that, "Do anything to me. You have been starving me, die, shoot me, hang me, sentence me to 25 years. Is there somebody else you want me give away? Just say who it is, and I will tell you anything you want. I don't care who it is or what you do to them." After reading this, we can say that this novel is a dystopian novel, because dystopian novel dramatize the many things could wrong. A war could break out, and the government could watch us on a massive surveillance system, and people could lose the right of free speech and censorship, and make propaganda from the news. So all these things come true in this novel, and that's why we can say that this novel is an example of dystopian fiction. And in this novel, Orwell has nicely portrayed the rule of fear, elements of dystopian literature. This novel in Act 2 contains most of the rising action, as it follows the attempts of the main character to either escape or change the society. And the Act 3 of the novel is contained the following action and the aftermath of the action in Act 2. And the theme of this act is derived from the resolution of the plot. If the attempt to escape is successful or the dystopian society is changed, the novel has a positive theme. Characters in dystopian novel. Dystopian novel includes the character they represent representative of the powerful and those in control like Big Brother, and the representative of the typical citizens and perfectly happy with the society or blissful unaware of the society's flaw. These all are the character in dystopian fiction. And at least one character disenfranchised by the society who desires either to escape or to change. If we look at the point of view of this novel, so the narrative point of view is about always from the inside, either a member of the society itself or someone who enters it. We can see that Big Brother is at the top of the novel, and the followers of Big Brother, that is called inner party. So inner party has a 2% of population, and the outer party is in common, and 85% of population are proles. It means common men. So this is the point of view. What is the theme of dystopian novel? So we can say that loss of individuality and government control, technological control, and environment control, survival, all these are the themes of these dystopian novels. 2 minutes of hate. This 2 minutes of hate is used to the political purpose, because it allows citizens of Oceania to vent their existential enemies, and they use this technique to strengthen the parties among the people, and by using this they brainwash the people and favor to them. These all are the references where I have taken my content. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, questions to her, Chandani and Bhumika?
How dystopian is
Yes. Yes, how dystopian is differs from utopia. Yes, it is totally opposite from utopia, because utopia is one kind of ideal society. What we call is Ram Rajya, and dystopia is in contrast very opposite to them. It represents the unpleasant society or conflict of the working class people and all this.
Hello.
Yes, Bhumika.
What are the features of dystopian fiction?
Dystopian, yes, dystopian fiction. It gives us a point of view to see in the future, and it contains government control and technological control, and also it contains the loss of individualities. So we can say that all these are the features of dystopian literature.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, the next presenter is
Yes, sir.
Hiral.
Daya, are you sharing my screen? I mean, your screen?
Yes, I am sharing.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Viral Kashyap, and my subject is Purpose of Waiting for Godot. So, Waiting for Godot was originally published on 2005, and it was played by Samuel Beckett, and its original language is French, and characters are Esteban, Lucky, Pozo, and Vladimir and Boy. Next slide. Waiting for Godot is a play by Samuel Beckett in which two characters, Vladimir and Esteban, engage in a variety of discussion and encounters while awaiting Godot, who never arrives. Next. Purpose of waiting for Godot. Here are some points. First is depending. Vladimir and Estragon are waiting for Godot, a man who will supposedly save them by giving them a plenty of food and place to sleep. A life spent waiting not only for applies to Vladimir and Estragon but all to human beings who each wait for his own her own Godot. Second point is that to know something beyond their understanding. What is the purpose of us being on this very earth? The answer may seem out of our reach. We don't know who to ask, and we certainly don't know where to start looking. Since birth, we have had our whole theory of existence told us to through questions without answer. As time progresses, we find ourselves more frustrated when our own meanings continues changing the more we attempt to sort it ourselves. Perhaps we are looking for meaning that is not there, or we aren't worthy for that one true explanation. So we sit and wait until a greater force says we are. The Godot play, Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett, captures the feeling and perspective of two men who spend endless days waiting to be told something beyond their understanding. Third point is the purposelessness of life. None of the character in Waiting for Godot has a meaningful purpose. Waiting for Godot might seem to give Vladimir and Estragon a purpose, but the fact that Godot never arrives renders their waiting meaningless. Likewise, Pozo and Lucky might seem to be traveling towards something, but their travels are ultimately shown to be equally purposeless. Pozo initially professes to be taking Lucky to the fair to sell him, but this purpose is never fulfilled. The second time they pass by, they express no purpose at all. They are simply moving from one place to another. Their traveling may even be worthless because they cannot seem to go by distance without falling down. The message from Godot delivered by the boy are equally purposeless. Godot will never come, and it is not at all clear the message are even meant to Vladimir and Estragon. The boy calls Vladimir Albert. All the characters seems to be trapped in the purposelessness role by title more than habit, which Vladimir calls a great daydreamer. The idea that life has no purpose is recurring theme in the theater of absurd, which Waiting for Godot helped define. Next, seeking meaning. Folly of seeking meaning. Although it is unclear who or what Godot represent, by waiting for him, Vladimir and Estragon are clearly seeking some type of meaning. They remember making a kind of prayer to Godot, expecting it to give them some direction, and they decided to safer to wait and see what Godot says, rather than die by hanging themselves. Godot, however, never comes, representing the futility and folly of such a search of meaning in inherently meaningless existence, and it can be maybe a time loop. The characters are also seems to be trapped by a time, endlessly repeating essentiality the same day again and again. They creates a despair and leads them to repeatedly contemplate suicide. Although they never remember to bring the rope they would need to actually hang themselves. Time is one of the main way people organize their lives and memories. So the uncertainty of time is the player contribute to the feeling of meaninglessness. That's why they are waiting for Godot to take out of this maze and let them have a now good days. Third, Godot is a ray of hope. Waiting for Godot is a Samuel Beckett's genius portrait of the human condition in limbo. Two strange souls sit under a strange tree in strange land. Wait, they know not what are for they waiting, and they know not they are stuck. Through seemingly anti-dramatic circumstances, we experience the complete devastation of the unknown. It's curiosity and the humor of fulfillity. These two seems like idiot, just waiting for nothing. But Beckett is asking us, what is that we are waiting for that we don't know, and when it will come, if it will come, or how it will look. It is God, it is death, it is love. It is like a baby. Like a baby is hungry and he or she don't know what is happening to him, so he needs something. So he keeps crying, and while we feed them, they feel calm, relaxed, and full. But what if no one is there? Baby is on top of hill all alone because some of accident and keeps crying, hoping for someone to come and solve his problem, hoping for someone to feed his need. But no one is going to arrive, and the only thing is he is going to have a death. Estragon and Vladimir were seeking the meaning and purpose of life. If they don't get it, they will commit suicide. Maybe, but the purpose of this play is God never gonna say you in clear words to do something. You have to find your own way. He can keep guiding, but not gonna hold your hand and take you to the top of the world. You have to make your own way. That's how life works. You have to find meaning of your life on your own. You should not be dependent on other. Next. So conclusion is, Waiting for Godot, Samuel Beckett promotes the idea that all life is meaningless and there is no point to existence. Indeed, the one could even argue that Beckett's present us with a morality that relies upon a friendship and human existence. They actually want something, but they don't know what they want, and they are seeking to know what they want and how it will feel after having that. Next. Here are my references. Thank you.
Yes, you can show that last point, last reference. Now see the last one, no, Ian McKellen. So
Sir, I'm not getting your voice.
hello, are you getting my voice now? Hello?
Sir, it is very low.
Yeah, hello.
No, sir, you are audible.
No, sir, you are audible.
Check your volume. Check your volume. Yeah. Are you getting now the voice?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So Ian McKellen, if you are citing, then the name of that is very important. From that way, you have to cite. Like Beckett Samuel. The first one is Beckett Samuel. That way, you have to see Bentley Ben. Okay. And if you want to italicize, everything italicized is not there. So Bentley Ben should not be italicized or underlined. Underlined and italicized of Bentley Ben is not proper. Title is fine, but then all titles you have to underline and italicized. Waiting for Godot also should be underlined and italicized. If you want to underline and italicized review or Waiting for Godot, okay, the same. So same pattern you will have to follow in this. Okay, you can stop sharing this. And before who is asking? Yes, Daya and Chandni will ask. You put your questions in the chat, both of you. This Hiral, you look at this this screen that I am sharing here.
Okay.
See the photo I am sharing. If you can see it, well, you will see that. See how you have put your camera. So only like half. You should be in the center when you put a camera. How to adjust? You have to be in the center and see that. So almost sideways. So if you will watch your recording or the other on the other screen, if you watch, then you will learn. Then you learn that, well, this is how others are doing. This is how I am doing. I can still improve on all these things also. Okay? So keep your camera properly when you face. These are all the skills which are necessary. Like language skill is necessary. Literary sensibility is necessary. In the same way, in a technological era, how to face camera, mobile phone, how to use these digital devices in a proper way. These things are very, very important. Tomorrow, someday, if you will perform in this way, then people obviously will ask that what were you doing in your webinars? You have done so many webinars. You are writing in your CV that you have done all these things, but were not your teachers telling you that this is not the correct way of facing a camera? This is not the correct way of putting the camera, so that all people may tell you if you go for a work someday. So how to parallel camera, not down. People keep down camera, so background, the ceiling is visible, the fan is visible. No, you have to keep it straight. So how it is visible. So this all many of you are doing right now. I'm seeing Jignesh, Bhavyang, Daya, whoever's cameras are on. You can see that they have put in a stable mode in a proper way. So you can learn from your classmates only. You can learn all these things from your classmates also. Okay, next is Jignesh.
Hello, good afternoon to all of you. I hope that my screen is really visible for you. So
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, you can start. Yeah.
So before starting presentation, I would like to tell one joke that totalitarianism means in our society we are believing that our totalitarians is our parents and who have a control of credit and debit card this kind of things. So it's not enough and it's not true. So here we see that totalitarianism in the George Orwell 1984. So totalitarianism means it's all controlled by the government, and also government can see that what we are doing, what we are doing in our daily life. So let me introduce the writer of the novel. So George Orwell's known as Eric Arthur Blair, and was an English essayist, journalist, and critic. And his work is characterized by lucid prose, beating social criticism, opposition to totalitarianism, and outspoken support of democratic socialism. Here some quotes. No one can get up much enthusiasm for government, which puts you in jail if you open your mouth. And another, the choice for mankind lies between freedom, happiness for the great bulk of mankind. Happiness is better. And also, a society becomes totalitarian when its structure becomes flagrantly artificial. That is when its ruling class has a lot of its function, but success in clinging to power by force or fraud. And also, political language has to consist largely of emphasis, question, begging, circular. And here is George Orwell's novel 1984, published in 1959, and also most influential novel of the 20th century. And if we see the historical context, so written in after much of World War II, and obviously Hitler's Germany and Stalin's Soviet Union was one on Orwell's mind. And also some information about the novel, satirical novel, and the story takes place in nightmarish dystopia, and in which surveillance state enforces perfect conformity among citizens through incarceration, fear, lies, ruthless, and punishment. And also, it was first published on June 8, 1949. It's Orwell's most famous work, and is the inspiration of the world Orwellian. And also, the novel introduced the concept of the ever-present all-seeing Big Brother is watching you. And here is the totalitarianism in George Orwell. So, in George Orwell's 1940 is still one of the most well-known novels about totalitarianism. And also an overused word that is actually quite scary when you think about it. In this lesson, we will go over specific reference to totalitarianism in 1984. Its relation to real world events. And here is what is totalitarianism. Totalitarianism means a total control, pure power. The party, the control of the superstate, seeks power entirely for its own sake. As an official admits, we are not interested in the good of others. We are interested in solely in power and solely in pure power. And these are the key elements of the totalitarianism in 1984. So totalitarianism always is big, main center is Big Brother. Big Brother is which represents the government, is everywhere. If you can eat, government can see you. If you can read, so government also government can see you. So all controls are handled by government. And also Big Brother controls everything: information, history, physical, psychological needs. He is a friend and the enemy of your enemy. He will protect you and save you. Okay, thank you so much. And here is my work cited. You can see.
Okay, so keep this. Now see here also. You as I think I suggested in the morning session, maybe in this slot or the another one, that you have to go for authentic academic. This UK essays or study.com, they are for students, study guides, school, high school, college students. So presentation or assignment is a research activity, and you are supposed to cite from we have given you this JSTOR. JSTOR and many other resources are there which should be cited when you refer to that. Yeah, okay, fine. Yes, you can stop presenting. And one question we can take for Jignesh. Yes, Hiral, can you ask one question?
Yes, sir.
हाँ.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Jignesh, can you give any example related to your presentation, like totalitarianism?
Yes. As we see, we have seen that Charlie Chaplin's movie, The Great Dictator. So Adolf Hitler is one of the examples. And also, I think we have studied in our BA syllabus at that George Orwell's Animal Farm is one of the best examples of this.
Yeah. Okay. Next is Khushbu. Yes, Khushbu, are you there? Yeah. Okay.
Is my slide visible, sir?
Uh, yes, but you'll have to rotate your screen. Yes, now, okay. Yes, now it is visible.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, just a minute. There is echo sound. Is screen visible?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today's my presentation is on Kazuo Ishiguro's Artist of the Floating World and Japanese influence on this novel, and how we see that the Japanese language has influenced in this novel also, and in karate also.
Play the presentation.
Kazuo Ishiguro is a Japanese-born British novelist. In this novel, we find that all the characters are named according to the Japanese culture, and we see that the ukiyo-e is the Japanese art, and the meaning, it is translation is the picture of the floating world. This novel is set in the post-World War II Japan, and the genre of this novel is historical fiction and global literature. Here we find some three paintings which are very interesting, pleasure seeking, which comes from the ukiyo-e style. We find that the pleasure seeking people and very beautiful, happy people and life.
Here we see that various how karate is a Japanese art, and how it is a very we can say popular art even in our country also, and which is also very helpful to us. This is the logo of karate, which is for India. Karate is one of the most widely practiced martial art forms in the world. Martial arts rely on acute physical coordination and mental focus. In all this time, there have been countless martial arts variations, and there are hundreds of disciplines practiced today. Here are some interesting terms from Japanese language which are used in karate. Kara means empty and te means hand. Karate means the art of fighting without weapons. And here are some interesting terms. Style Goju Ryu means hard and soft style. Name of karate uniform, jacket. The top jacket is known as obagi. Pants, that is judogi. Belt is known as obi. And the whole uniform is known as karate dogi. Then badge, it is known as konken in Japanese. Then there are various belts, that is grades in karate. White belt, that is shiro obi. Orange belt sha obi. Green belt mikaro obi. Brown belt cha obi. Black belt kuru obi, and red belt haka obi. Red belt is the highest grade in karate which is given, and which is not found in India but in other countries. Sensei. Sensei means teacher, and especially in karate or martial arts or in any field. It is also means someone who is born before you. Dojo means the place where we learn karate or in general class. What does one say while entering the dojo? Here are some terms which can be used to greet while entering the class in Japanese language. Oyo gozaimasu means good morning. Konnichiwa means good afternoon. Konbawa means good evening. Swate means sit down. Tate means stand up. Mukoso means close one's eyes. Mukoso no means open one's eyes. Then arigato gozaimasu means thank you very much. Sugi means these are some techniques which are used in karate. Sugi means punching. Yuki means blocking. Uchi means striking. Ate means elbow technique. Geri means kicking. Then here in this novel we find various character names which are Japanese names. Masuji Ono, which is narrator and protagonist of this novel. Noriko, it is the younger daughter of the Masuji Ono. Setsuko is the elder daughter which is already married. Suchi is the husband of Setsuko. Ichiro is the son of Setsuko and grandson of Masuji. The son-in-law of Noriko, Masuji Ono. Then Jiro Miyake, with whom the engagement of Noriko is cancelled. Kuroda is the most favorite student of Masuji Ono, but later on the conflict happens. Shintaro is the less favorite student of Masuji Ono. Seiji Moriyama, that is Mori-san, from whom Masuji Ono learned the art of ukiyo-e, that is pleasure-seeking art. Then Yasuri Nakar, the tortoise. He is known as tortoise because he was very slow in his paintings and all that. Then Taro Saito, with whom the Norika got married in the end. Kazao Ishiguro, also known as Sir Kazao Ishiguro, was born on 8th November 1954, Nagasaki, Japan. And so we find the influence of Japanese culture, language, and all this in this novel. In 2017, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And interesting thing is that he is still alive also. Notable works are Never Let Me Go, An Artist of the Floating World, The Countess, Unconsoled, The Remains of the Day, When We Were Orphans, Appeal of the Hills. He is a very great writer, we can say, and he has got many great awards like Nobel Prize in 2017, Booker Prize in 1989, Costa Book Awards in 1986. This is the lines taken from the original text, An Artist of the Floating World by Kazao Ishiguro. When you are young, there are many things which appear dull and lifeless. But as you get older, you will find these are the very things that are most important to you. An artist's concern is to capture beauty wherever he finds it. So we find that some things which just now we feel that are of no use, But later on, when we go ahead, then we discover that no, these were the most important things in life. So I appreciate the things when they are with us. These are my citations. Thank you.
Okay, you can stop presenting. Now, it is very difficult to see how you connected karate with this novel. This name is fine, but there is, how do you see a deeper connection? Anything in your mind? Why do you thought of connecting these two things?
Sir, in this karate is also a Japanese art, and in this novel we find that many words of Japanese language are used. And karate is also a Japanese. In karate also I find that many Japanese words are used. So when I used to go to karate, then in that many words like good morning, thank you very much, all we have to use Japanese language only. So there is connection of language, Japanese language.
But how connection means what? The Japanese language can be in various things also. So, but the novel should have, for example, instead of artist, if there is you can stop presenting. You can. So now see, if there is an artist, painter, had he been a karate person, then it is okay. Or some of the language of karate is used by the writer in the novel, then it is okay. Otherwise, how do you see the connection? Language is there, but it might be in so many places. Why do you connect that?
Maybe the novel
In novel, nobody is talking about karate. Had there been a single talk about karate, then also it is fine. You open a window that here there is a karate reference, and then you talk about that. Symbolically, karate is used in the novel, then you can connect. But because you have learned karate, that is not the answer that you have to connect this novel with
so
karate.
the time goes of war and all that. So if people are not having any weapons or anything to go on, then people might be inventing some ways that how can they fight the war and everything, fight with people even without weapons also. That if the
So what is that reference in novel? Novel people are fighting with weapons, no? They are dropping bombs. They are not fighting with karate. So if writer is imagining that had there been no bombs but only karate, it would be good that at least buildings will not be destroyed. People would not die, mass massacre. People will fight karate and they can break their arms and other people's neck, but they cannot destroy buildings and that. There is no such reference. So there is also, you have to keep in mind that when you read literature, what part of that you are connecting with the other thing. That is the point of literary sensibility, that how to connect. The knowledge is all about connecting dots, but how well are you connecting? That is very important. That with what you are connecting, that displays your deeper understanding of both the things. In this case, karate and the novel, both can be deeply understood when you connect those things also. Okay, fine. So we end our session here. I request everybody to quickly mark, do your marking, so I don't have to remind you afterwards. Yes, everybody. Anjali has not made presentation, so by mistake, do not see that you are marking Anjali also, who has not made presentation. Yeah. And do it quickly so that I don't have to put a message to anybody regarding this. Okay? And we are ending this session here. Okay?